How's everybody doing? It is Paul from Magpie 24/7, back again, and back after the day after. Is it humiliation? Because at this point we're fucking used to it. But anyway, we're back today, the day after Newcastle crash out of the Carabao Cup. Yeah, according to Steve Bruce though, it's not a defeat. So it's alright! It's alright. It's got a major taste of defeat because we're no longer in the bastard competition, you cabbage-headed bastard. Yes, Newcastle out on penalty kicks after a 0-0 draw against Burnley in a match that, quite frankly, you'd want to etch out of your memory if you in any way could. I know Newcastle, I mean, I think Dwight Gale crashed the bar. We had a close call off Jeff Bastard Hendrick. But no, yet again we get what we deserve, to be honest. And yeah, Bruce can talk about bad luck and all this like all he wants until the fucking cows come home. But the top and bottom of it is, we are playing shite football, and shite football will get you shite results, and that is exactly what we are getting. And it's the only thing we're getting, because we're not getting points and we're not getting through in cups. So yeah, shite is all we're getting at the moment. And now the pressure cranks up towards this weekend's make or break 90 for me against Southampton, because we've got Manchester United away coming up after the break. Nice easy job. So it is a huge game this weekend, no doubt about it. But just touching upon last night, it was pathetic, it was predictable. With 35 minutes to go, I put a tweet out. Kyle sent me a picture through and I put a tweet out, and I said, this is going to penalties. There's no doubt about it. This snooze fest is headed straight to penalties. And as I'm sat there watching the minutes tick down and Bruce reluctant to make any sort of real changes, I'm getting more and more frustrated. He makes the substitutions once again too late. We don't change shape. We don't go for it. We don't get enough shots on target to justify winning a game of football. We really, really don't. I know we're probably getting a few more percent possession than what we were last season, but if you look at some of the results that we're getting, defeats away 2-0 to Aston Villa, 0-0s at home to Burnley, it's got a very much stench of it, of seasons gone by. And that's what you get when you stagnate with the squad as we have done. Bruce has come out and again said, we've got no money. Meanwhile, Mike Ashley, our owner, one of the richest men in the country, has seen his wealth increased by 800 million. I'm not saying all that's Newcastle, but yeah, it would be nice to see a little bit of something being put out of his back pocket into the Newcastle things instead of the other way around. Well, I'll take a few million back. I'll take a 10-15 million payment back, or I'll take Strawberry Place off your hands, and yeah, for now, and I'll sell it, and yeah, I'll keep the money myself, or I'll take a £17 million deposit of the Saudis, and oh yeah, that would happen to be my money, yes. So yeah, Mike Ashley's bank balance goes up, and yes, he profiteers off Newcastle, and no doubt is branding all over the stadium, etc, etc, etc. It all helps to make that absolute fucking parasite, that cancer at our football club, Mike Ashley, a few more quid. Meanwhile, his investment, which is adamant is worth £300 million, is going down the fucking shithole. It fucking is, because at the moment, all we've got to look forward to for the rest of the season, bearing in mind we're in August still, is a relegation battle. So congratulations to one Mike Ashley. You know, you think that it's not possible to fuck up in a new way. It's not possible to get any lower. And then he finds a way. It's like layers on an onion. He peels another one off, and there you go. More salt in the bastard wounds for Newcastle United supporters. And yeah, going out to Burnley. Yes, fucking Burnley. At home. It should not happen in a month of Sundays, and they turned up. They haven't deserved to win a football match, but they're through to the next round. They've got a favourable draw, I think it was against Rochdale, and yeah, that gives them a chance to get balls deep in the competition, whilst we are sat around licking our wounds, licking our fucking pride. Steve Bruce is sat at home with his feet up, a pipe, and fucking eating oodles of fucking apple pie off Mrs. Bruce. Instead of giving the fans a little bit of hope, a little bit of something after a shit start of the season. And let's face it, it's not just one season. The fans are that pissed off because it's year after year after year of big clubs and this, that and the other, and shit and crap coming out from various managers of different stages of retardation. And let's face it, you know, Mike Ashley's given us some corkers, he really has. The Joe Kinnears of the fucking world, your John Carvers of the fucking world, managers who the fans have never wanted particularly, like Alan Pardew's even. Fuck me, I'd snap your hand off for an Alan Pardew at the moment compared to the fucking muppet who's in the hot seat at the moment, Steve Bastard Bruce. It really is. It's just stupidity after more stupidity after. Let's give Lee Chanley a pay rise for the fantastic job that he's doing at Newcastle. He really fucking is, isn't he? Oh, he's doing so great. I want to triple that lad's wages. A baldy-headed jammy fucking bastard doesn't deserve a penny extra in wages. You know, if we were drinking out of fucking cups and stuff, then fair enough. But it's embarrassing. It is fucking embarrassing. You get pity of like the Sheffield Wednesday supporters. You know things are fucking bad. Rooted to the bottom three in the Premier League. Early days, I know, but let's face it, the football isn't giving us cause for optimism. Reason to be fucking cheerful. 1-2 bastard 3. No, it's not. For every Newcastle supporter, and I'm sure every Newcastle supporter feels the same, it is a case of shit your pants about what is happening with our football club. And just because Mike Ashley couldn't give a flying fuck about it, just because Lee Charnley and Steve Bruce don't give a fuck about it, there are many, many, many who do. And it is fucking criminal the neglect that the football club gets. With no money for more transfers, what you see is what you get. And even when you see it in the form of Matty Longstaff last night, it confirms that Matty is almost certain to be out now from being down here. I'm hearing strong rumours and people nudging into us and saying, hey, have you heard? Yeah, Matty Longstaff is coming to Huddersfield. It just seems crazy, it really, really does, but it'll probably be the best thing for the lad personally to get out of Newcastle, to get away from Steve Bruce and actually have some time playing football, to improve his game, to learn his trade, and hopefully come back when Steve Bruce is fucking long gone. But unless somebody else leaves, and there's talk about Isaac Hayden going to Watford, there's talk about Sean Longstaff going to Everton, I can't see it myself. I really can't. I know some people are saying 10 million for Hayden is not enough. I don't know. I just can't see players. I think everybody at Newcastle is happy to play the status quo. I think there's enough in there to be able to stay up. And what I'm saying is, I'm not so sure. I think we're desperate in numerous positions. Up top, you've got Dwight Gale as your backup, but he doesn't actually like playing him. Last night he didn't have a great game, let's face it. He's got Joe Linton, who was his poster boy, a striker, come attacking midfielder, come a fucking Jeff Horsfield impersonator who can't hit the side of a fucking barn door. The team lacks goals, we need a striker, we're desperate for midfield. The midfield is really bad, and then you've got John Joe Shelby out for a month. You've got Hayden potentially carrying a knock. Already, we're in August, we're scratching around for players. We need support, an athletic centre back at the back, and legs, energy in that midfield is an absolute must. But let's face it, it isn't going to happen. If anything does happen, it's likely to be a loan at best. And yeah, it'll be the literally the scrapings off the floor when you're Manchester United, when you're Tottenham's, when the greedy six basically who try to fuck British football over, I think it's prattling about and they've got way too many players. You might get the dregs left over from their squad, so a Danny Drinkwater might come in, or a Carter Vickers might come in, or a Phil fucking Jones, oh my word, might come in. It's shocking. It really, really is shocking, but that is the state that the club's in. We've got, under a week now to be able to finalise stuff. Still talking about 4 goalkeepers, which I think is absolutely fucking madness. For one position on the park, you've got 4 players, and then in some other areas, like centre forward, to me, we've got 1 proper centre forward on the books. Yet we'll have 4 goalkeepers hanging around, 3 of which can do nothing when the other lad is fucking playing. So yeah, only at Newcastle would this fucking circus be allowed to continue on. It really, really would. But yeah, that's enough about that game. Let's look forward to another 90 minutes. I can't wait. I have always looked forward to going to watch Newcastle and this, that and the other, but I'm like a fucking coiled spring that's been fucking snapped and bent and fucking contorted into all sorts of different weird and wonderful ways. And I can't wait to make a 230-mile round trip. More, I can't even say in hope than expectation, because I used to expect results against certain teams back in the day. Oh, we're playing these, it's a guaranteed. It's a guaranteed 3 points. Then it went to hope. Well, hopefully, I hope, yeah, we've got such and such in our team. Yeah, we've got enough. Now, I don't know, it's just probably absolutely and utterly blind faith. A case of going up to meet up with Kyle, going up to the stadium, the cathedral on the hill, but not expecting any sort of a result at all. I don't expect anything else apart from more humiliation, because that is just the way it is going. It is all the time, the way that it's going to be, because nothing changes. You know, nothing changes at Newcastle, that's for certain. I see pictures last night, Oldham supporters kicking off, right, and chucking stuff on the pitch and all that sort of thing. At Newcastle, nothing's changing, and I think the fans are like, they let it dance, they let it believe, there's a takeover bubbling away, we've signed Joe Willock, we have spent some money, which covers up from the fact of where the rest of the money has gone. You only ever get half truths and little bits of nuggets or little glimpses. You never get the full deal. It's just enough to keep the pressure on the supporters and keep the supporters thinking, well, it's the Premier League, it's this, that and the other. It's not. You know, yeah, Dick Master and all that, yeah. There's no doubt that there is a cartel running stuff, and that isn't making it easier. But by shifting the agenda over to that, it certainly takes the pressure, do you not think, off a Mike Ashley or a Lee Charnley or a Steve Bruce? But I just think more and more fans will be starting to get to think, well, that's gone really, really quiet, the takeover, there's nothing on that. And the frustrations are going to bubble back over, and they are going to be seen. We've heard little bits of chance against Steve Bruce here and there, and Ashley here and there. I think you go 1-0 down against Southampton this weekend, and I think you could have a completely and utterly different gravy. I really do, because you do look at the team, and I don't want to, because when I go to the game, I do really want to support the lads, and a lot of, I think, Newcastle fans are like that. They want to support the lads, the players who are representing the club. They don't want us to go down. But I think if we go 1-0 down this weekend, it will bubble over, because there's so much pent-up frustration and anger and confusion and lack of answers from the football club, Lee Charnley, Mike Ashley, the Premier League. The Premier League writing letters saying that they share the frustrations of the fact. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. But don't let it take away or detract from the fact that the cancer at our football club is Mike Ashley. It's always been Mike Ashley since he came in. It will remain being Mike Ashley. And the Premier League are part of the problem, no doubt about it. But the main problem is that man. If he desperately wanted rid of this football club, he'd find a way. He'd lower the asking price. He'd bring more players into the equation. He'd look at different makeups of the the consortiums to move it on, and just to give it to somebody else to have a go of who might actually give a shit. But no, what he gives a shit about, and let's be totally honest about this, is getting every penny that he in his eyes has put into that club back. So do not sit there and say that, well, Mike Ashley's doing everything that he can, because I just do not generally believe that, and I can't stomach that as an explanation at all. Mike Ashley is not doing everything. He's got legal teams on the case. He's trying to push it through, but he's trying to push it through not for the fans, not for the history of our football club, not because he's the custodian of the football club. He's doing it for his bank balance and his retirement fund, ready to go to Miami. Anyway, that's enough about the absolute shit show that's been happening up to now. Let's start to look forward to this. I nearly said Norwich. This Southampton game at the weekend, which I still think is going to be no pushover, no easy game whatsoever, with a returning player, a returning striker in Armstrong, who is definitely ready to prove a point or two on his return to St James's Park. Right, yeah, so as I was saying, Southampton, the visitors to St James's Park this weekend, and it is a huge make or break 90 for me. To be honest, I've said this time after time again, and I certainly said it through when we was 1 or 2 wins in 20 odd last season. Bruce should not be the manager of Newcastle United. He is not qualified. I have seen fucking chicken dippers that are better qualified to be the manager of our football club than the aforementioned Steve Bruce, who even during the radio interview that he did recently talked about him being in the twilight of his career, the wind down of his career, the arse end of his career, a career of 900 games. 900 shite ones, but 900 games nonetheless. So he somehow, despite investment, many could argue, despite time, many would argue, he gets the Southampton game as well. And to be honest, he could lose the Southampton game 10-0, and that slimy, smug bastard knows he will still be in charge when it comes to Ollie at the wheel and Manchester United, and he'll sit there all pally, arms around him, laughing and giggling on as Man United pump us 6, 7, 8-0. You can fucking guarantee it. As for this weekend, well, ASM, despite the fact he was only on the pitch 10 fucking minutes yesterday and missed a penalty, he has got a bit of an injury, he has got a bit of a niggle, so there is a question mark over him. So will he play him, will he not? Will Captain Cautious come out once more? I don't know. Wilson missed out, didn't he? Fernandez missed out, Richie missed out. That was all the rest of them. Because the little darlings, they've had so much work on recently at the beginning of the new season that they needed resting when there was a chance of progressing in the cup. But that they come back into the fold. Callum Wilson will no doubt start. If ASM is ruled out, then surely to God it has to mean a return to somewhere near a number 10 for Miguel Almiron, who's played in this weird midfield position. This field experiment, and you know that Bruce doesn't like to fail these experiments. He likes to try square pegs in round holes, and it never works. But if ASM misses out, then surely Mickey moves up there. Failing that, you could possibly see Ryan Fraser, who was bright in parts, you know, in the cup. He could perhaps come up further up the field and hopefully rekindle the relationship with Callum Wilson up top. Other changes, well, I thought the defence, to be honest, didn't play too badly. I thought Lascelles had one of his better games in recent memory. Fullback is interesting because Jamal Lewis, he started in the cup. First half, a little bit here and there, giving the ball away. Thought he got better as the game went on, to be honest. And in the second half, wasn't a bad shout. Now, Matt Ritchie, as much as I love the lad, I think he's a right good Raji bastard. I don't know. I look at this situation that maddens me today because Jeffro Williams has gone to some newly promoted club in Germany when he could have been brought in. Ritchie shipped off to Bournemouth, who were very, very keen on him. But instead we've got Ritchie and Lewis. I don't know, is now the time to see Lewis in that position and see what he can do? Or is he waiting for getting Paul Dummett back? Because Paul Dummett, playing in the three at the back, does tremendously well at plugging in gaps and last minute last second dive tackles to keep you in games and stuff. So perhaps he's waiting to get Paul Dummett back before putting Jamal Lewis back in at the left wing back role, because he's a bit more, it's a bit better of a combination that than Matt Ritchie and say Kieran Clark or something like that, you know. So for this game, I've still got a feeling he'll go back to Matt Ritchie back at left wing back, Jacob Murphy on the other side, and it's critical for whoever is playing in midfield, and I don't expect it to be Isaac Hayden, not because of the transfer situation, but obviously he's got a bit of a knock. I don't think he's going to be fit for this weekend. He won't risk him going back to captain cautious. I don't think he will risk him for this game, so it'll probably be Sean Longstaff who comes in, and it's critical, despite the fact, again, it's not his position, it's not his strongest point, but whoever plays in that central midfield area has to, you know, as the fullbacks bomb on, fill in and deputise for them defensively when there is gaps there. And if there is a 2-on-1 situation with two Southampton players against obviously our one fullback, the fact that Murphy in particular isn't defensively minded, he will need help on there. He will need somebody to come over, buddy up with him, and to protect you know, the sides of the defence, because too often recently teams have got around the side of us and they've been firing and pumping fucking crosses into our box, causing all sorts of shit. There's more pumping fucking going on there and splurging than goes off the fucking Playboy Mansion house, I tell you. But crosses are being fired in left, right and bastard centre, and bang, 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 going back to the old fucking Playboy Mansion analogy. We have been punished time and time and time again, and it has to stop. They've got to cut these crosses out, because we're shipping fucking goals faster than the Titanic took fucking water on. We really are. So that has to be sorted out against Southampton, and do not give Armstrong the absolute an inch to come back and rub salt into the wounds. He's a Geordie lad, he's a Newcastle supporter. It'll be the last thing he wants to do to see Newcastle in trouble, but he's a centre forward, and centre forwards get off on scoring goals, and he potentially could be a very, very good one. So yeah, brought in to replace Ings. We all know what happened with Ings at the Aston Villa game, so we've got to be really careful not to give Armstrong any encouragement whatsoever. And yeah, I mean, I think what did they score, 7 goals or something? I stopped watching when it was 7-0 to them in the cup, so they have certainly found a knack and a route to goal, of which we have really not done too well on at the moment. But defensively, we've got to be resolute, tough, concentrate, no stupidity, no Lascelles slicing the ball out, no giving stupid free kicks away, because we've been done like a kipper from out wide. We've got to dictate the fucking play, and most importantly, we've got to get the ball forward and create chances. We need to see ASM, if he does play, and I hope he does. I don't want to see him having to drop so deep that he's literally within holding hands distance of Jamal Lascelles, because I saw that too fucking often against West Ham, and it's pathetic and it's embarrassing. And it's, yeah, you know, he tries to take the entire opposition on, beat 10 players, and then knock the ball in the back of the net. And, you know, those sort of goals don't happen week in, week out, as much as I'd love it if it did. And if anybody could do it, I suppose it would be ASM. But I'd like to see our attackers stay up the top end of the pitch. Our midfielders do so much more, because, let's face it, the midfield so far this season has been fucking shit. From top to bottom, from 8 to fucking Z or Z or whatever. We have been shit in midfield. The balance has been all wrong. We've played square pegs, as I touched on before, in round holes. We've played Mickey in the middle. It's just a stonking great pile of shit, our midfield makeup at the moment. And yeah, if we've got 2 loan slots that we can fill, I feel we should fill them up with at least one of them being a midfielder, because we are fucking desperate. Absolutely fucking desperate. You're as desperate as a fucking Katie Price. That's how fucking desperate we're fucking become, especially in the middle of the fucking park. Hopefully Joe Willock can add to it. We've been playing it free in there, no Shelby. I'd be tempted to drop to a 2 and then maybe to push Miggy further forward. So I'd personally want to try something out with like maybe Wilson up top, Miggy in the middle, Miggy in the middle, ASM one side, Fraser the other, and really go for it. Play 2 midfielders in the middle in Joe Willock and AN another, because it's all pretty much of a muchness after then. There's not really much in reserve. Fuck me, I might even be tempted to fucking play Shea in midfield, which he does well for his national side, but that's a different debate. But yeah, I'll free behind the focal point. Try something different, because let's face it, what has gone on so far has been absolutely fucking shite. And the definition of insanity, of course, is to do the same things and then expect a different outcome, because that simply does not work. It does not compute. It will not happen. So yeah, hopefully Bruce has the balls to be able to change it up. Or hey, even better, play 4 at the back and try a different formation going forward, because it's clearly not working, and we don't have the personnel. We don't have the wing backs. The wing backs, you've got to be a master of so much, and you know, you've got to be athletic, you've got to be pacey, you've got to be good going forward, you've got to be able to get the back, you've got to be able to travel the distance, etc, and we just don't have the wing backs really. Jamal Lewis is probably the closest that we have got, and he looks devoid of confidence. He has been well and truly fucking bruised. Yes, another fucking victim. Bores my piss, because how many players under this man with 900 games experience have gone backwards? How many have gone forwards? You could argue maybe one, Jacob Murphy, and that's it. And he only went forward because he went on fucking loan. Jesus wept, man. Jesus wept. It's a shit show, it really is. I said before, I used to be confident, then I went to hope. At the moment I expect nothing, so if we get something then I'm pleasantly surprised. But I feel as if literally the life force has been ripped out of my stomach with regards to Newcastle at the moment. And I just wish that Steve Bruce or Lee Charnley or Mike Ashley or whichever bunch of the merry men present this weekend had 1% of the compassion, the love, the dedication, the enthusiasm for the club, because we wouldn't be in such an absolute fucking diabolical shit show as we are at the moment. My head says, fuck me, we have to win a game eventually, a game of football. And I'm hoping that this is the game that the lads decide to turn up for. I really do. But fuck me, you just don't know, do you? Some people say, well, I'll be happy with a point, blah blah blah. With the start that we've made, you can't be happy with a point. You really can't be happy with a point, because I don't think we're getting anything from after the international break for our trip to Old Trafford, that's for certain. So it's got to be the 3 points, got to be, hasn't it? But all the signs point to another frustrating, confusing 90 minutes. I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. I'm giving up trying to predict Newcastle. It's impossible. Don't put them on your betting slips, because it's beyond an art form. It is absolutely fucking mental. So yeah, let me know what you think the score will be down below. I'll be interested to read your comments, see what you think, who's going to start, how are we going to get out of this, and how the hell are we ever going to get rid of the stench of one Steve Bruce, the man who claims he is a Geordie, a man who claims that he cares about the football club and the city, yet does this and sticks a dagger into the heart of all Newcastle United fans. Like I said, if it goes wrong, if we go 1-0 behind, it is going to be a powder keg situation this weekend at St James's Park. Let me know your starting lineup, your score predictions down below, and I'll be keeping an eye on the comments. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube page. It really does make a big difference. We appreciate it totally. And of course, the podcast will be coming back over the weekend as well. In the meantime, take it easy, look after one another, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.